Hello, everybody. It's another Thursday night, and our presenter today is Justin Berl. And as I joked with him earlier, he works for the third most powerful G organization in the world. First, you have the government, then you have Google, and then you have Getty. So
I think Google's more important than the government.
you're probably right, but that's a topic for another time. So here we go. Justin, the stage, the screen, the share button is yours.
Okay. How's everybody doing tonight?
Tell us who we are. Give us some background.
Hi, Justin Berl. I am a freelance sports photographer here in Pittsburgh. I've shot for Getty Images since 2016. Before that, I've shot for Icon Sportswire, Beaver County Times, I get freelance work from various colleges and stuff. But I'm excited to be here. Thanks to Archie for asking me to do this a couple months ago, and I finally caved in and said I'd do it. Because I'm really not a big public speaker, but I'm trying to get better at it. But I will share my screen and gonna start with my website. Okay. Okay, go here, and I'll start by showing some baseball images.
Oh, wow.
This is probably my most famous work. And it is just pure luck that I even was able to get it. For baseball, I usually set up remote cameras in various locations. Sometimes field level, sometimes I'll do them overhead, like a little higher up on the concourse, depending. And yeah, this game, I set one up, pointed at home plate, and Kutch decided to try to jump over the catcher.
Wow.
And yeah, I think only 2 photographers got something usable out of it because of how high he jumped. I usually go really loose on my remotes just to be safe in case something like this happens, or just like if a bat goes flying or something. So I went really loose and was able to make this. Beautiful. Was able to make this frame.
By loose, you mean a wide composition so
Yeah.
that.
Oh, Noah!
Yeah. Usually a 70-200 is my go-to for a remote down there. So.
That's a great shot.
Thank
I'm
you.
a Mets fan.
Nice.
Sure.
Yeah. One of the cool things about PNC Park is we're allowed to go behind the Lexus Club and shoot out at the pitcher's mound.
Cool.
And yeah, this Noah Syndergaard, I'm a huge Met fan. I'm from Queens, so when they came in,
You got a kindred spirit.
Yeah, there you go.
Are you
See,
shooting?
my father said, being a Mets fan builds character.
Yeah, no, it certainly does. My grandpa was a Brooklyn Dodger fan, and then when
So was my father. Yeah.
and then when they left, he just could not root for the Yankees.
Yeah.
So,
Same story.
then once the Mets came around, my family went to the orange and blue.
Yep.
Justin, question. Were you shooting through the mesh?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
out of focus. So
yeah.
that's
This is
why.
with my 2. I shoot Nikon, so my go-to sports lens is the 200-400 f4. So yeah, this was right behind home plate, shooting through that netting, and yeah, it's weird now with that netting, especially behind home plate, because they have these beams that to hold up, because they put broadcast cameras in there now. So there's so much stuff to fight to be able to get through, but I was able to make this.
That's a great shot.
Thank you. All right. Starling Marte. Yeah, just lucked out. Him sliding into third base, getting the massive amount of dirt kicking up.
Hey, I have a question on the remote shots.
What's up?
Are you firing those? Is it triggered by action, or are you firing those?
No, I'll have the remote, but like the back to the clutch photo.
The radio slave.
Yeah, they're runoff pocket wizards. I'll have one on the remote body, and then wherever I am in the ballpark, I have one on my handheld, and it's firing. Like I don't think I have it on this computer, but my handheld of this catches the headless horseman because his head, he jumped so high that I cut off his head.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. John Lester of the Cubs actually got stuck in his glove and decided to throw his glove to first base instead of the ball.
Oh, that's great.
That is Fernando Tatis Jr., who is, if you follow baseball, is becoming like a superstar recently. He decided to try to steal home against the Pirates in a Sunday game, I think last year, and he actually did it. Diaz was late on the tag, and Tatis Jr. Stole home. Then
The sunglasses are interesting on that one.
There's Thor again.
yeah, just Noah again. I think this was on a Sunday, and we just had some really nice light. I liked the way this, just like the way this one looked. Here we got Marte making a catch in front of the Pirate logo in center field.
Justin, are you
Yeah.
shooting shutter speed preferred at like 1250?
I like to go all manual.
Okay.
So
But
like-
what shutter speed do you generally use to
I-
freeze your action?
I try to be at like a night game, 1,000th of a second, 1250.
Mhm.
It all depends on. Excuse me. For me, I like the feel of manual better, being able to control.
Right.
Why did we skip? This was 4 years ago. Trevor Williams for the Pirates got his first ever major league win, and myself and the former assistant photographer at the Pirates, Joe Guzzi, I was actually working in the photo well, just on sending stuff, and we happened to see Trevor and his family mingling after the game, and I saw that his son was sleeping on his wife's chest and decided to snap this.
That baby looks like a cherub. Oh my God.
Here we got Jay Hay just making a leaping, diving throw the first. I miss his hustle. He was one of my favorite guys on the Pirates to photograph because he would just his emotion was always great.
Mhm.
And here's another remote shot, if I remember right. Jordan Luplow. This actually was a home run, if I remember right. I'm not 100% sure, but like I said, I think it was a home run.
Mhm.
Just I was either in one of the other wells and just walked out to get the bat coming off the ball coming off the bat like that.
Did you shoot in continuous mode so you could pick your frame?
With the Pocket Wizard, whatever I'm shooting on my D5's 12 frames a second. So as long as I'm down on that shutter, that remote's gonna fire also.
Okay.
Oh, so when you're firing your handheld,
Yeah.
Simultaneously fires the remote camera.
Yep.
Oh, I got it. Okay, okay.
Yeah, it takes the place of the flash
Right.
and sends the signal that way.
Yeah.
Okay. So typically when you're at a game, how many frames do you shoot?
Depends on the game. Like a really exciting game, over 1,000,
Okay.
1,200 maybe. A really boring game, maybe 1,000, 1,200.
Okay.
And
But
how
yeah.
many do you send?
For Getty, we have to send 20 during and immediately after the game. They need their 20 images for newspapers and the teams themselves will, or MLB, excuse me, will use a lot of Getty stuff, and
Okay.
then within a couple of days after, we have to send second edits in where I could be another 80, 100, 150, depending on what happens in the game, and if I have enough stock action stuff, because Getty stuff goes to trading card companies and fat heads, those like stick 'em things on the wall. So like I have to shoot a lot of isolated action of just guys like in their batting stance and stuff like that. All right. Let's move to
And Justin,
yes.
is the workflow strictly JPEG, or do you shoot raw files as well?
No, just strictly JPEG for Getty. My new job, I just started with the Associated Press doing some commercial stuff for sports. That I have to shoot both raw and JPEG. My own stuff for, like, we'll see in a little while, I do stuff for Robert Morris University. Game action, I'll shoot JPEG, but like the stuff you'll see later, I did promo photos today for men's hockey. I shoot that in raw.
I wouldn't think you'd have enough time to do any raw processing.
Yeah, it's a pain in the butt, especially with the new gig for AP where I have to shoot both, like, but it's just, that's, if it's what the client wants and that's what they want, that's what. But yeah, let's look at football. Here's everyone's favorite Steeler, no pun intended, Antonio Brown, making a one-handed catch. This was Rob Morris football, who, like I said, I do a lot of work for the university in our athletic department. Tom Brady. This was 3 years ago, I think, when actually they beat the Steelers, not the time where the Steelers beat them at home. I think if I remember right, it was a comeback. He just ran off the field and just was like, fans were yelling at him, chirping him, and he just screamed like this, just like, this like sigh of like scream of relief and scream of like, yeah, I just beat you guys in your own building. DK Metcalf for the Seahawks, just your usual break, like stiff arm. Here's another Robert Morris football. This was last year when they played University of Dayton.
Wow.
Cam Hayward with a sack on Jared Goff. Juju just celebrating a touchdown he jumped on the low end zone and just decided to start celebrating with fans.
Justin, what lens are you using for the football?
Football, like I said before, mostly my 200 to 400 is my main for football, and then when we were allowed on the field, I'd have a 70 to 200 on one hip, and either a 16 to 35 or a 24 to 70 on the other hip.
Okay.
I tend to run three bodies at football when we're out on the field.
Wow.
Aaron Donald from his Pitt days. going after a quarterback.
Hmm.
Ben not being happy after being sacked.
Those are the stupidest uniforms.
Look ridiculous.
God, I hate those uniforms.
They look
They
like
look like prison. They look like a prison uniform.
Yes.
I mean, don't it? Come on, Jesus.
Yeah, and
Well, the Pirates baseball outfits back in the 80s and 90s
They look just like it.
They look like prison uniforms.
They did.
With
The
that stupid
late
hat.
70s. We are family. Yeah, they were horrible. Hated them too. With those oil can hats.
Yeah, those square hats. Oh, they were awful.
They looked horrible.
Darius Hayward Bay and what I call the bumbling Browns, just falling all over the place. I'll jump back to basketball.
Hey, I had a question for you before you go into new sport. Between football and baseball, your strategy as a photographer. But I assume it's okay to ask you questions while you're going. Otherwise, I'll yeah.
No problem. No, this is fun.
So with baseball, are you picking a player and following the player, or are you following the ball? And sort of how do football and baseball differ between your strategy for catching the right moment?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah. Baseball. Start of the game. There's photos that I have to get out for Getty. Like Getty wants 2 variations on each starting pitcher. So I'll do a wider one, a wide shot, and then I'll do like a chest up. So I get those out of the way, and then it's mostly focusing on the batter, and letting the play develop. And then if nothing's happening, then I'll sit on the third baseman for a little. If it's a right-handed batter, I'll sit on the third baseman hoping that a ball gets hit to him and he either dives or jumps or just something. And I'll just randomly pick guys, and then other things is just pure luck. If like back to that Marte catch at the wall, just see a guy hit a ball to the outfield, just go to the outfield and just hope you get it.
Yeah. Like the shot you got of the guy throwing across his body, flying in the air. I mean, you must have been on him, right? Because how would you catch that quick with following the ball?
To be honest, I don't remember, but I would assume that you're right. I was on Jay Hay waiting for something. Like I said, it could have been a left-handed batter. And I knew it was either going to go to Jay Hay or Josh Bell, and I just happened to be sitting on Jay Hay at the time.
You do a lot of anticipation, it sounds like.
It's also knowing, like I said, righty, lefty, somebody pull hitter or somebody just a slap hitter, and it can go anywhere. Football, I don't have a real strategy. But it's like the same thing. Like, excuse me, there's set stuff that Getty wants right away. Like, we got to get the quarterbacks out. Like, within the first 2 series, got to have 2 shots of Ben, 2 shots of Tom Brady, if that's who they're playing. And then it's just with NFL football, we don't have right now because of COVID and not being allowed on the field. There were 3 of us on the field for Getty. We have one person on each sideline, and then one person either follows the play or goes in front of the play, hoping for a big play down to them. Or if I'm sitting behind the play, I'm hoping for T.J. Watt to come through the line and sack somebody and just start screaming and kicking and going nuts. But for football, like if I'm doing it myself, that's how it is for pit football. There's only one of us. I'm just following the play as much as possible. Or if I see that a team likes to throw the ball, I'll sit in an end zone and wait for the play to come to me rather than waiting for a running team where I know it's just going to be run, especially for football, because we can't shoot in between the 30-yard lines because that's the bench area. So you're not allowed to shoot there. So you're only going 30 to the end zones around the back of each end zone. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand. Yeah. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, here we go, basketball. This is the night, number 23 for St. Francis, PA. She became her school's all-time leading scorer this night. And usually I was shooting for Robert Morris, but they got a request from the other school to hey, can you shoot 23 because she's about to break a record. So this was actually March 12th, like right when all this happened. This was the NEC championship game at the UPMC Event Center here in Moon. This is the day I actually was around someone who had COVID, and I had a self quarantine for 14 days after this game because one of the referees in this game actually had it. But yeah, Robert Morris won their conference tournament, and kissing the trophy is like this big, like, not it's an iconic image in a way. So like when I saw this was, I think AJ Braum was the man kissing it. I liked the way it looked, the little bit of his reflection. So just generic. This is from that same game.
Mhm.
I think,
Great perspective.
yeah, he was a senior, and he was named to the all-tournament team, and they won it. And he sat down and would not let go of that trophy.
Oh.
Justin, for indoor basketball, are you shooting with whatever available light, or are you popping flashes?
No, this is all available. I've shot strokes for other stuff, but not basketball. Especially at Robert Morris. This photo was from like about 3 years ago in their student rec center, and the light, as you can see, was really nice. The Soul Center, which is this one's from. I shot anything I shot, and the Soul Center was shot in RAW because it had those old lights that recycled, and sometimes if an African American player was dribbling down the court, like those lights would make them look green.
Mm.
So I shot a lot of stuff in the Soul Center in RAW just to be able to adjust for the lights.
But
Manny
how
McConnell.
did you control the noise? Because everything is so crystal clear.
Yeah, I shoot with a Nikon D5, so I can get that. I get my ISO up pretty high and still have a usable image. I've taken it to 12,800 at a Pirate game, and and it was still usable.
Great. Okay.
So it's insane on what these cameras can do now in terms of noise and high ISO. But yeah, this is Matty McConnell, a local kid. Yeah, he played 4 years at RMU. Yeah, he just sank a three-pointer and turned and screamed.
Nice shot. What's your lens for basketball?
Basketball 70-2 on one body and 24-70 on another, just in case. 72 is in case someone starts to drive to the basket, and I could also go a little wider and kind of show where we are in terms of fans and stuff. Yeah. Same thing with the kissing of the trophy. This was the women's team. They won their conference tournament.
Mhm.
This was this past year at the new basketball arena for Robert Morris. And this was that same girl, 23, who became her school's all-time leading scorer. This was a championship game 2 years ago, and she went down. And like same thing as the Maddie McConnell photo. She shot at 3, sank it, and decided to really celebrate. Let's step on the ice for a little bit.
Oh, beautiful.
We got Sid the Kid. Yeah, just don't know what else to say about Sid. We got Marc Andre.
Took a while to find the puck, but I found it. That's a prerequisite in any hockey photo is the puck. Almost
Yeah.
I can't find it. Where is it?
My-
Oh my
right on
God.
laptop.
That's a good one.
And his eyes aren't on it either.
No.
Justin, does Getty look for like the play of the game? You know, is it news based or is it more just getting action shots that capture the dynamic?
A little bit of both. Like I'm supposed to get if Sid goes down and scores a goal, they want a photo of that goal, and then other stuff's just fill in like if like a big hit happens or like a save like on the Marc Andre photo, like just to fill in coverage with different things. And then after the fact, it's more isolated stock action stuff that, like I said before, that like trading card companies can use and stuff like that.
So you know, you have all of these wonderful shots, and my question is, you know, at the end of a game, and you have all of these frames, do you ever come away and go, I can't use any of these?
Oh, having plenty of time.
Okay.
Yeah, like I shot pit football against, was it Louisville 2 weeks ago when they wore those the new gray jerseys. It's also partially my fault. I shot the game with a 1.4 teleconverter that I bought the day before.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch what you said.
I bought a 1.4 teleconverter for
Oh, okay.
because I knew we were going to be in the stands and I wanted that little extra reach. I shot the first couple series, went in to send, and I'm like, I have to go back out because none of the stuff was usable.
Okay.
Yeah, what was wrong with them?
What was wrong with?
With those
The
photos with
1.4
teleconverter?
failure.
Yeah. Just everything just seemed soft. Nothing was sharp enough to be able to even salvage to be able to send. So I took it off, went back out, and
I see.
got my stuff that I needed, and then had a pretty good day after that.
Okay. So, but that's really good that, you know, you only lost half of it. I mean,
Yeah, but no, it happens a lot where,
okay.
or even sometimes you're shooting a game and nothing happens, and you're like, I have this number of photos I have to hit, and you're like, well, God, well, please something happen.
Justin, I would imagine that hockey and basketball are particularly challenging because of the fast speed, the unpredictability, and back and forth, and
Yeah.
the high probability of being out of position. Is that accurate?
Yes. Hockey especially because you're shooting through a 3-inch hole in glass, and there could be sometimes where the play could there's been games where I'm down the end, the Penguins are defending, and the Penguins could score 6 goals down the other end, and I have nothing because the action's just the other way, or yeah, it's hockey's extremely hard because of where you are.
Well, you can be in their end 2 periods, right?
Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 6 or 7 holes in the ice. And we're assigned a specific one to be at. Sometimes it could change. One period I could be in one hole. Next period I could be in another one. So it's luck of the draw basically with Penguins PR. And like I said, sometimes like with the Sid photo, I just happened to be in the right spot, and then other times the play could be everything's happened down the upper end, and I'm scrounging to find pictures to be able to send. But this is another one.
Justin, I love this photo because I actually found myself in it. So
Where are you at?
I'm on the second tier, kind of near that big 104.7 sign, and there's a guy in a black shirt, and then there's me to his right. So
Nice, yeah.
Camped out for hours for that spot.
Yeah, this was like the big moment. Like everybody will, like everyone who had the parade access, like to be able to walk the parade route, wanted some form of this photo. Just Sid by the garage with all the fans just hanging out, waiting hours, like Scott just said. Yeah. Here is a hockey remote photo. This was at PPG where Rob Morris was playing Penn State last year, and I did a remote here over the one goal that Rob Morris was shooting at twice, and then I did a remote over Rob Morris's bench, just in case they were able to score. I'd be able to get guys going down, kind of like the high-fiving line, so to speak.
Where do you put the camera?
I mount it up in the catwalk above the ice at TPG.
So you have to be, it's going to be 135 millimeter or something like that.
This was probably a 300 millimeter. This
Really?
was a 300-2.8.
So it's that high up.
Yeah, you're above the even above the scoreboard.
Oh my.
Oh,
So
wow.
you're basically almost on the roof.
That seems like a lot of weight to secure and double secure and
300-2.8 on a D4 with 2 magic arms. Usually, yeah, either 2 magic arms or 1 magic arm and one ball head with a I can't think of it. I'm drawing a blank on what it's called. But yeah, I secure it.
Super clamp.
Super clamp, yes. There you go. Usually 3 or 4 safety cables, and $2 million in liability insurance. Make sure that.
those remote shots, Justin, for those remote shots, are you pre-focusing in a manual and then like are you taping it
Yeah,
down? Does it move or
yes.
what?
Yeah, try to go out when the house lights are still on, because I tend to get to PBG for a 7 o'clock game. I'll get there at 3:30, 4 o'clock. So when the ice crew comes out to do like a final like run through, like before fans get in, they'll still have the house lights up. I'll go out. I'll have my buddy who's the one of my buddies who's the Penn's team photographer. He'll go out and stand in the crease, and then I'll focus on him and adjust things and see, and then tape it down, and then just hope and pray that everything holds and when the game starts. This is some of my work for Rob Morris Women's Hockey. Not last year. Earlier this year, they played University of Wisconsin, who is like one of the best women's hockey teams in the country. And it was a pretty tight game, pretty close game. Emily Curlette, that's the player coming down the line. She just her reaction after she scored to tie the game, just celebrating with her teammates on the bench. At UPMC, when there's a spot to shoot in between the benches, which made this a lot easier to capture.
I was going to ask you how you got where you were.
Yeah, this was right before the early March of this year. Rob Morris is playing Syracuse in the conference semifinals. The game had been scoreless for a while, and the girl on the left, the captain, JC Gebhardt, she finally scored to break the 0-0 tie, and she just looked up at the sky, and it was like a sigh of relief that like they finally got through the goalie. Here's Craig Anderson from Ottawa keeping his eye on a puck. I don't remember if this one went in or not, or if it went off the post. But I just like the way you could see that like he's focused on the puck. This was 2017. Rob Morris actually won their conference tournament this year. And like the girls decided to give their head coach a Gatorade bath.
Ugh.
And here, just Marc Andre making a save. I'm gonna jump to soccer real quick, and then
Great.
this is late last year. I was freelancing for Grand Valley State University. The last 2 years, the Division II women's soccer, has held their national championships here in Pittsburgh. And the first year I shot for Grand Valley, they lost. They lost 1-0 on a late goal. And then when I saw they were coming back, they reached out to me again. It's like, hey, would you shoot for us? So I got to shoot them becoming national champions.
Fabulous.
Yeah, this is more of my work for Robert Morris, men's soccer. More Robert Morris men's soccer. This is the Riverhounds against Nashville FC. Nashville saw my work somewhere and called me and asked me to if I'd be interested in shooting for them. Here's another shot from Grand Valley. This was the first day of this is the semifinals when they won to advance to the national championship game. Just more Robert Morris. Let's go. Here's some of my portrait work with athletes. This was in California when I attended a workshop. Actually, Shelly did also a couple of years before me, the Sports Shooter Academy. You get to pick three sporting events over the course of a week that you want to cover. This was my first day. I wanted to go to this boxing gym and try to break out of my comfort zone and shoot portraits of the boxers. This is some more work for Rob Morris. They did a mental health awareness jersey, and this was for the jersey reveal. Rob Morris football. This is a recruit. I think he's on the team this year. They have me go down and shoot various recruits when they come in for visits, and they put them in full uniform, and basically I just get to shoot them doing whatever. Like I asked him to kind of look mean and pull down his helmet a little bit. I love this. This is Jake Coleman. This was last year for men's hockey. Obviously, he's missing his teeth, and I was like, Jake, would you mind biting a puck for me? He's like, yeah, sure. So thought that just fit, that hockey player missing teeth. This is also at Sports Shooter Academy. My second event that I picked was horse racing. I'd never shot horse racing. I'd bet on it plenty of times, but I never photographed it, and just had some really nice California light.
Nice portrait.
And yeah, this is some promo work for men's soccer I shot last year. Promo work for women's hockey. This was another boxer at in California. This was 3 years ago now. Just more Rob Morris promo work, and just another boxer at that gym. Let's see. Let's jump to. Hang on 1 second. This is some of my latest work for Robert Morris. This was Women's Hockey Photo Day a couple weeks ago. Usually, what the last couple of years, all I've shot is the stuff on the white seamless, like you saw in the other post. I just wanted to do something different, so I reached out to the SID and the coaches, and I was like, "Could we do something on the ice?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure, whatever you want." So this was with three. I was telling Archie earlier, I bought Westcott FJ400 battery-powered strobes. Yeah, and this is three of them. Two on the side with strip boxes, 1x3s, and then another one with just a 24-inch Octobox, and just was like, I had the girls do all kinds of stuff, like stopping in front of the net, let's see, like shooting, celebrating goals.
Can we see those full screen?
Yeah. Is it not showing up full?
No, we're just getting thumbnails.
Okay. Let me see how to do that. Hang on. 1 second. Let me.
You have to share your full screen, not just Photo Mechanic, because
Okay.
you
I
hit
got
magnifier, it won't
I
take
got
the
you.
magnifier.
You're probably seeing it, but
There we go.
Okay. Sorry about that.
no, thank you, Polly, for bringing it up.
Yeah. So yeah,
Mm,
just shooting, celebrating, trying to spray ice.
nice.
This one we just turn one light off to try to do something a little different. And then,
Good.
no, this starting here. This is actually stuff I shot this afternoon.
Hmm.
For the men's team.
Are those are those studio strobes you're using because you got a lot of space to deal with there?
Yeah.
Those aren't.
They're like I said, they're Westcott FJ400s. They're almost like I'm trying to think of.
I just Googled them. They're like a monolight, but battery powered.
Yeah. They're I'm trying to think. They're kind of like Einstein's, but with yeah. They're what Archie has.
I see that, Archie.
But yeah, I really like them. This is only the second my second shoot with them. I went from I've had Alien Bees before. I've had Einstein's, but I was looking for something, something without cords to do this stuff on the ice. And I read up on a bunch of different things, and I kind of just settled on those. I don't know. I just like the way they're simple to use. Everything is digital. They have their own trigger where I can adjust everything on the trigger and not have to go over to the light and turn it down, up or down. So
It's nice you have that giant bounce card of the ice too.
yeah. Had them couple times come in and spray ice like this, and then had them act like they were scoring a goal. So yeah, the next couple were guys celebrating like they scored. But yeah, like I said, that was all shot a couple hours ago.
Wow.
Stop share. Jump back. Jump back to my website real quick. Here's just some random other sports I've photographed before, like horse racing. This is at Santa Anita in California. Volleyball. Tennis at the U.S. Open. I was lucky enough to shoot. RMU has a rowing team, so I've shot rowing once. This is actually my first time I've ever shot rowing. NCAA wrestling. They came to town last year. More U.S. Open tennis.
Shadow on that is great. The one before.
Oh, the Donald Young.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you. Rowing, some more horse racing, college softball, some more volleyball. Lacrosse is actually becoming a favorite of mine to shoot. It's in that same realm as hockey, and where the action's just so quick. Like you kind of have to be you're really on your toes a lot, and it's also a lot. It's almost as violent, so to speak, as hockey is, especially on the men's side. Like you'll see in some of these, like people are swinging their sticks.
Wow.
But like, especially, you can get some really nice celebrations. Yeah, like on the women's side, after you score a goal, you have to drop your stick immediately. So,
All right.
dropped their stick and just jumped.
Mm-hmm.
This is a fun one. This was actually, I put a body with a either 16 to 35 or 24 to 70 on a monopod with a pocket wizard on it. And I just held it out and fired it from my hand, just trying to get a different angle. This was their men's lacrosse. Rob Morris made the NCAA tournament for the first time. And they went to Maryland to play the #1 team in the nation. And I was just looking for something, just a different angle, something different. Yeah, and like a shot like this, like shooting for the school, like they'll use this to announce recruits or their team awards or something. It's just something that like they like is like the guys lined up without helmets. So we did those. Jump to some news. This actually news is something I don't do very often. Some of these actually were assignments I got when and worked with Archie at. Yeah, this was most of the presidential ones were from 2016. This was Trump's visit to Ambridge.
I missed that one.
You didn't miss much. Secret Service wouldn't let us leave because they were afraid for our safety.
Yes, they hate the press.
This is Bernie at I think the Fitzgerald Field House. Mike Pence at Atlantic Aviation. This was another one where actually at this I got threatened by a lady who claimed to have a knife in her boot and didn't want me taking her photo.
Oh my God.
And this was funny. Like for this one, there was only 3 photographers at this, so the campaign let us go right out to the
Tarmac.
the tarmac. Yes, couldn't think of the word. To shoot the future vice president coming off. This was last summer. I was assigned to shoot the Pirate game, and then the protests for the shooting Antoine Rose happened, and it looked like they were going to try to break into the stadium to protest inside. So a couple of us went out and shot a little bit of the protest before the game started. This one Archie was at, because I remember, because him and I were probably up on this. I think you were the one that actually asked for us to have permission to go up here, if I remember right.
I think it was just a group effort for sure. But yeah, I remember I got that on my website too. I like it.
Yeah, this was 2016 Hillary at the convention center. This was actually at that Sports Shoot Academy where I was shooting horse racing. I went in to have lunch, and I just saw all these guys just looking up at the screens with all the tickets on the floor. And I was like, the tickets actually kind of tell a little bit of a story with the amount of losers losing tickets. I mean, that were just discarded all over the floor. Hillary again. I think this might have been at that same rally. This is another one from the horse track in California. The guy was just sitting there smoking, looking to see what horse he was going to bet on next. This was the VFW National Convention a couple years ago. President Obama came in to speak. And I was just looking around for something to photograph other than him, and happened to see like this couple. Then, this is actually my first ever news assignment. It's Andy Warhol's birthday a couple years ago. I did the whole Andy Warhol tour. Did his grave. I did his house in Oakland, and the museum.
That was probably one of my last Getty assignments 10 years before that.
A little bit of concert stuff, just to kind of wrap things up. This was last November. I never shot. I shot in like post-game concerts at PNC Park and back home in New York. But I kind of always wanted to try it, and David Bergman, who used to work for SI, and he's Bon Jovi's tour guide. He holds these workshops in various cities with Luke Combs, the country singer. You pay to go to a workshop, and you get to shoot the full sets of both opening acts and of Luke Combs himself. And then like David will you submit your photos and he'll critique you and stuff. And I just decided, I was like, you know what, I want to give it a shot. So I signed up, and yeah, and here's some of the stuff from that day. This is Luke Combs right here. Yeah, this was a post-game concert at, back in New York. Post-game concert at PNC.
In that workshop, I guess you were able to do more than the 3 songs.
Yeah, we had, like I said, we had the full set for every one of the artists. So Luke Combs played like I think 22 songs. We had all 22 songs that we could shoot. And what was cool, I didn't really make anything good of it, but there was 5 or 6 of us, and we each got 1 song each to go on stage behind the drum riser and shoot from back there. But they're all looking forward, so it really wasn't anything super special to get. But I think that's it. Yeah. So yeah,
Wow.
that's my work.
Well, I really appreciate that, Justin. I'll let you decide. I'll let the group decide. I can keep the camera running for the Q&A, or I can pause the camera and save some editing for me later.
No, whatever's easier for you.
Okay, well, again, thank you, Justin.